What's up, homies? What's up, homies? What's up, homies? Welcome to the Knowledgeable Homeowner Podcast. We pick the brains of industry pros to unlock the trade secrets of homeownership. Our mission is simple: to turn everyday people into knowledgeable homeowners. What's up, homies? I'm Sturdy Joe, and this is the Knowledgeable Homeowner Podcast. On this episode, we have Tyler Brown, the owner of the 8 Well Fitness Studios. He's here to chop it up about home workouts, home gyms, somewhere along those lines. So no further ado, the man himself, Tyler Brown.
Hey, brother.
What's up, dude? How are you?
Happy to be here.
Thank you so much. Welcome to the garage, man.
Yeah, man. The setup is great.
Thank you.
I also love the Sturdy Joe name.
Thank you.
You know,
Thank you.
I think coming in, I heard that you were sturdy.
Thank you.
You know, in appearance.
Yeah,
but you could definitely see it.
I've become less sturdy.
Yeah.
My friends, I fell below 200 not too long ago.
Yeah.
And my friends are calling me I'm now victim weight.
So,
I'm like, dude, I'm just trying to live a full. I got a third kid coming. I'm trying to live a long time.
Trying to be a dad, trying to run a business.
Yeah,
it's tough. I literally, it's funny you bring that up. I had some friends that literally just shot a text that were like, if you're under 200, you know, like, victim, or just like, you're not a man.
Yeah, I'm also 5'6".
There are also people that are over 200 because it's not because of the right decisions.
So that's kind of what happened. So, you know, being a shorter guy, my brothers are tall. My brother's 6'3", the other one's 6 foot. They're older, playing football. I got into lifting young, like starting lifting in like 8th grade, 9th grade, regularly in the gym, 10th grade on, right? So you get used to exercising a certain kind of way, you know, lifting weights, being able to eat a lot of calories. I also, in adulthood, was working construction and going to the gym. It didn't negatively affect me because I was able to burn all the extra calories, get a great pump. So I was able to stay solid and not have a high body fat percentage. And then, which is kind of the point of this episode, is like life catches up to you, you know, work, business, kids, you know, I can't hit the gym the same way I used to. Mm-hmm. So, and also injuries too. I mean, my brother was getting double shoulder shaving, all these crazy things.
Yeah.
And the way, like, listen, I love bench press. I'm a short dude, love bench press. Terrible for the shoulders, terrible for the joints. So I just can't lift the same way anymore. So this past summer was, I started running. I was like 220 in April, and that's my birthday is in April. I was like, all right, listen, if I can't cut to 200, I'm going to end up being 300 because every year I'm adding like 10, 15. Yeah. So we did it. I started running, which was fun because I hate running. So it was a good challenge. And just changing the lifts, doing more like full body kind of circuits.
Moving a little more.
Yeah, honestly, watching you guys, I don't know if you're doing like a run club or you posted a video about making your clients run. And I was like, yeah, you know what? If they lift and run, like I got to start lifting and running.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So. No, appreciate that. I think that that is the toughest part as we add in kind of all these new aspects into our life. You go from a young man that's just working and you can spend an hour, 2 hours in the gym, and you lose that time.
Yeah.
As soon as you have kids, as soon as you take on more responsibility, either with the job that you have or building a business, those workouts have to get a little more concise and they got to be intentional.
Yeah. Right. Intention's a good way to put it because I think, you know, being somebody who working out is a big part of my lifestyle. Working out, as much as it's about being in shape, getting a pump, all that nonsense, it's really for the mental. Mm-hmm. And the harder life gets, the more important the workouts have been. So a lot of workouts I noticed were like, I just have to get to the gym. I'd work out for 20, 30 minutes. Yeah. But it really was because it just resets, it grounds me, resets my head, lets me focus. Like today, we got a lot going on today. Made sure I got a lift in. It wasn't the highest quality lift, but I got it in. So the angle I'm getting here, which I think is perfect segue, is like, if I could get some good lifts in, and I got this space here, right? If I can get some good lifts in at home, I wouldn't have to sacrifice as much. And I see a lot of home gyms. Yeah. I see a lot doing home inspections. I see some really sick setups. I see some really basic stuff. So I figured we can kind of chop it up. You own gyms, right? You're the owner of multiple locations now. You're also rock solid, dude. Like,
appreciate that.
Great. Yeah. You, like, sometimes my friends will knock me, and I'm like, dude, I got kids, and then you have 2 kids, and you're also still a freaking beast. So.
No, I appreciate that, and like kind of giving a little bit of my own background. So similar to you, right? Played sports my entire life. As soon as 9th grade hit, like I come from a place my father passed early. My mother was like kind of fighting to give us all the opportunity she could. My only opportunity I felt like was school and playing football, right? That's the shit I did the best, and it was like, this is your way to kind of create a bridge, create more access, more opportunity.
Sick.
Ninth grade hit. There was no like, and I was born in 1990, right? So like, training was still coming about. Like, my first program in high school was like a 5x5 split, like squat, deadlift, press.
Old
like
school.
that was it.
Yeah.
But it built me because it's, as a novice, as like you're just starting, anything you do is going to kind of put strength on you.
And if you do it consistently.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
the most important. Even if you're doing it wrong, even if you're doing it light, you do it consistently, you're going to see some kind of result after a certain amount of time.
For sure. And that's kind of like where, like, leading into that is I'm solid right now, and not by any means of the fact that I can have the same intensity of workouts I did 10 years ago because I have 2 kids and I'm running multiple businesses, but because my base started so early and I never stopped, right? It's similar to what you're saying is I always use my workouts as kind of a crutch. So it either was practice for a sport, right? Where you, or training where you were in the gym with the team. That was always a part of my life, and I never let that leave me. So it always was something I fell back on.
So football was the main sport?
Yeah.
And what positions were you? What was your favorite positions to play?
So college, I played like strong safety, linebacker, even like some stand-up DN, right? So like that strong safety position.
Stand-up DN,
you're
rushing
so
the
you're
edge.
just kind of blitzing off the edge, right? Like running around.
In high school, probably.
High school was like running back, linebacker.
Yeah,
which I mean, obviously you love, like I was just built around that. Like even when I was younger, I was kind of like one of the bigger kids on the field. So it was just like fullback, linebacker. I just always was a contact guy.
So the running back, linebacker position, like you were squatting, you were benching, you were deadlifting, you were hitting those heavy lifts. So you built a good foundation young.
Yeah, and that was kind of when I talk to people today, and it's like, oh, yeah, how can I get to be at, I don't even like want to talk about like how can I get to look like you?
It happens all the time. People
are like, how do I look like you?
I don't have an impressive build, but people are like, yo, like how do I get there?
Yeah,
and it's like do the same thing for 15 straight
And honestly,
years.
that is the answer. It's just that like again, like I'm probably work out 4 times, like strength wise, 4 times a week, and then I move a couple other days if I can. If my kids want to let me go for a walk, right? Or like pop
just get
out
your
for a
steps
run.
in, burn some calories.
Like that's it. But it really is like you got to start 15 years ago, right? 20 years ago, and kind of keep it consistent.
All right. So how old are your kids? If you don't mind me asking.
My daughter is 4. My son's 1.5.
So you had your daughter before you opened up the fitness studio,
kind of
right?
as it was happening.
As it was happening.
Yeah.
So you were working. You have a full-time job. You're starting your family. What was like working out like then? Like were you still going to the gym and grinding it out? Were you 5 days a week in the gym?
I'd say like as my wife was pregnant, I was like kind of getting my last 5 days, hour and a half in the
you
gym.
Knew it was
like
coming,
right. You were trying to find every hour you could, and then kind of in that. But right, you have a baby, and the time I try to like talk to people about this. That like the time just disappears. Yeah. Right. Like you used to have kind of when we didn't have kids, you had that hour on the couch. That was like, oh, I don't even know what to do with this time.
There's so many gaps that you don't. And unfortunately, we didn't realize we had it.
Yes.
Our friends who don't have kids, you don't realize it until it's gone. So that's when you're able to go and, an hour lift, an hour 15 lift was really 2 hours of your time. Yeah. There's a drive there. There's drinking the pre-workout. There's listening to music.
Oh, for sure.
Getting hyped in the car.
Dapping
up the guy at the gym. Going to the gym was like it was a social thing too. Like it was Friday nights for me. We'd come home. I took the train into the city. I was a union carpenter in the city. Yeah. So I took the train in from Brentwood. I was living right over here. On the way home from the train station, I'd pick my brother up, bring him to my house because we were close to the gym. I'd get changed. Like I said, make the pre-workout, go to the gym. Friday was always arms. Hour and a half workout, bring him back home. That was a 3-hour process. Yeah. But
Imagine having 3 hours.
Oh, man. I would do the same exact thing.
When I lived in the city so I was working in finance, lived in the city with a few of my boys, and like that would kind of be the 4 days a week. Yeah. Was like I get home.
Were you in Manhattan or
I was in Manhattan. Lived like kind of bounced around Manhattan for 6 years, but like lived in the city.
Oh, nice. It's a different vibe.
Which was fun. Completely.
Manhattan's cool, dude. I know now it's so different and people get all crazy about it. But like I don't know, there's something about that hustle and bustle, man. I love when I got independent. Like I could have 100% lived in the city when I was working in the city because there's just like I don't know, there's a grind to it. Like I loved walking through the streets and like everybody was moving fast.
Yeah.
Like
I think half of the grit I have is just because of the time that I spent in New York City. Yeah. Right. And like obviously you're born with a lot of it, and like my experiences have molded that. Yeah.
Finance. Okay, cool.
So that's financial consulting, right? Nice. Like kind of on the side of working with businesses to first it was find the most financially appropriate health benefits that they can offer their employees. So the number 2 spend that a company has is going to be on benefits. So work with consulting them on how they spend that. And then I transitioned over into right now I'm a licensed advisor.
Nice.
Consulting companies on the 401k.
Yeah.
So do that
and
on the side too.
Yeah, because you can do that with having a business. You have 2 businesses because that field of work, even though you work for a company, it's your book of business. You're handling yourself.
Exactly.
So it's good training for opening up the gym, and because everybody thinks opening up a gym is stacking plates and no, it's a business. Yeah, we got to get our numbers right. Okay,
Completely.
cool.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah,
that was like the way we were able to build the business kind of appropriately was because of, I'd say, a lot of one had a partner who's solid. We had a plan for how we were going to train, how we we're going to have a good setup in the gym, but we had our back end numbers kind of set up. Right, we knew what we needed from a member standpoint, what we needed to charge.
The artist and the entrepreneur, like they've seen that. So you have the art is the trade. The trade is training people, working out, understanding the gym, and then the entrepreneur is the business side.
Yeah,
so you're ready.
exactly.
You're ready to rock. Yeah.
But like even that, you made a point just about kind of that free hour, right? It was like as we were starting to have the baby, right? We were progressing in pregnancy, where I started kind of locking on. I was doing went from being an athlete, I was getting pulled to kind of training and wanting to do that, create programs. That was a lot of what I was doing on the side, or training people in person, like after work, before work. But then with that free hour I just started like building out the business concepts, right? It was like, all right, I know where I need to be and what I want to do, and kind of using that hour to build what Ate Well kind of turned into.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So, all right. So, home gyms, utilizing time. I feel like obviously COVID really, really thinned out the people who wanted to work out and the people who didn't. And that is when the home gym craze, it went nuts. I mean, the weights went like $4 a pound. It was like nuts. And that's where I think I see a lot of the equipment at home is from COVID. Did you have the studio during COVID or no?
So didn't.
Okay.
We were right after.
How did you get it in? Did you have connections in the gym? Were you able to sneak into gyms?
It's like we did
a little of that. Yeah.
So I did some one-on-one training. There were a few underground gyms that were allowing people to get in there. You could find, if you knew the right people, if you knew the right gyms,
some guys
were open.
Some guys did good with that.
But I think all those were still legitimate, and I think still people needed to move, so it was good for the people that were willing to do it.
This was a public health matter, and we're telling people to stop exercising, which is absolutely absurd. So,
and I hope that people kind of see the issue in that. But so did the one-on-one training in those gyms, but then found myself, obviously, like a lot of people, in the basement. Yeah, finding some workouts. Yeah, and running. Right? There was a lot of cardio that happened during COVID.
I got so lucky. So while I was starting my business, I had my son at the same time. I needed benefits because I wanted my wife to stay home. So I was able to get a gig at the Yaphank Jail, and I did building maintenance at the Yaphank Jail. The Yaphank Jail is like 10 years old. It's a new building. They have a beautiful weight room. I love a weight room. Yeah. I'll take a weight room over any commercial gym any day of the week. You know what I'm saying? It's just the vibe, the echo, metal plates. Yeah. I got so lucky. So I really didn't miss a lift. The beginning, when things were really crazy, my son was like 4 months old. Yeah. So I was working out at home, and that's where, dude, I had the 5-gallon water jugs, and I was doing lunges
lifting
with
whatever
them.
You can.
Lifting whatever I could, because that was already instilled in me. So that was what like gave me the idea for this type of conversation, is because it's like when push comes to shove, like I'm gonna get my lifts in. Yeah. I'm gonna get even if the gym shuts down forever, like it might not be 5 days a week, but like I'm still gonna do 2-3 days a week. Yeah. So,
which I don't know where we go with the conversation, but I think that's the basis, right? Yeah. It's like, where can you find your consistency? And that's what's most important.
All right, so we'll jump into the first question, right?
And now a word from our sponsor, the Ryan Anthony Head Start Fund. This foundation is focused on providing alternative career paths for young people other than just college. If you want to learn more about what they got going on and some updates, you can check them out at lookwhomadeit.org. Now back to the show.
How much space do you think somebody legitimately needs to start a simple at-home workout? Like a garage, basement, a room?
Yeah. I think to your point, right, you've seen all the sizes, right? Mm-hmm. Like people have a room, or people have like full-fledged.
Yeah, crazy.
Detached buildings like at their house. The goal, right, is definitely like the Don Saladino barn in the backyard, 2 levels, but most people aren't going to have that. I think the goal, if you can have somewhere 200 to 400 square feet, like you're in a very good place at home.
I mean, if I took this space, this is a 25 by 15 detached garage. We can make a killer setup in here.
I run gyms that are at 1,500 square feet, right?
Yeah.
With multiple people coming in. So think about 1-2 people, you and your wife working out, and your kids running in. Like this space, right, is perfect.
Well, I think so. With space is probably important about like what kind of equipment you're going to have set up. Like, do you want just cardio? If you're like a CrossFit, cross training kind of person, like, can you put the squat bench in there? So it's, I guess, picking the space. I guess people aren't picking a space because they either have the space or they don't.
Or you don't. Yeah.
So it's kind of building it's building your equipment based on, I have a 9x9 bedroom.
Yeah.
I can get a workout in here, so it's making it work for that. Okay,
for whatever
so
the space is.
it's kind of this because everyone's already in their house, so it's kind of predetermined like that.
Yeah.
All right, so when picking out equipment, right? Like we see different kinds of equipment: dumbbells, kettlebells, resistance bands. Is there somebody maybe more of a novice lifter should lean to, something that's more, you can get more workouts in? What do you take on that?
I think, right, so if we're thinking kind of the base of it is dumbbells, kettlebells, bands, if you could start with a few sets of dumbbells and bands, you can kind of accomplish everything.
Yeah.
So I think like if you were able to get a light set of dumbbells for what feels like your cardio circuit style work, and then that middle range that allows you to push from somewhere 12, 15 to 20 reps on that middle range weight.
Yeah.
So now you're saying you can do high rep presses, high rep lower body movements, and then something heavy that you can either squat, deadlift, and carry. You can cover the entire basis.
Okay, so
right?
get a couple at lower weight, couple at higher weight.
Yeah.
The resistance bands too. I mean, the resistance bands are rather inexpensive anyway.
Exactly.
So,
so you
can just get a
grab
whole
some
kit
of those, and
yeah.
then you can get even, which now adds to your workout, kind of that rehab work too. So you can really, right? Everyone's
Get
got
healthy.
shoulder pain,
Yeah.
right? So if you can get some of that shoulder,
That's
that
the
shoulder
reason
work before
the shoulders hurt is because I used to just
we do none of that.
I
We
used
just
to
go
one
press.
of these and
Yeah.
just start benching.
That's
But I've been,
it.
dude,
You see everyone in the gym, they hit a couple of these.
I
and
have bad hips. As a kid, I dislocated my right hip, and they've just always been wonky. So I've always stayed pretty flexible lower body. And now more than ever, sitting a lot, sitting in the office destroys me, driving. I mean, I'm doing like splits before even the upper body workout, like stretching like crazy. So for me, the space I would need a space to do
to move a little bit.
Yeah, like crazy lunges and a lot of stretches. So, all right, dumbbells. I see a lot of like those multiple
Adjustable.
weight. Yeah. I've never used one. Would you lean to getting those, or maybe get a couple of regular static weight ones? What do you think?
I like the regular static set ones.
It's
Only
a 30-pound
because,
dumbbell, and that's
yeah,
it.
And that's it. But I mean, obviously, the ones that adjust, if they work well for you, they're good because you can go from, some of them go from 0 to 52 or 0 to 85.
Yeah,
right?
they're nuts.
Now you've got a bunch of different sets in there, but they stick sometimes. Sometimes they're weird in the way they hold, right? The plates will move a little bit. So I'd be better for some
Too many moving parts.
Yeah.
And realistically, you don't need it. Like, we know now, like, you don't need a 2.5, a 5.
Exactly.
Like with plates, right? There's too many plates in the gym. I think you need a 45 and a 25 and maybe a 10 for light stuff, right? So with dumbbells, that's the same thing. Is like, you don't need 5-pound increments. You need a couple that you can move 15 times. Couple you can move and do the bigger lifts a couple times.
Exactly.
And kind of be done with that.
Because then it's even, right, like at your house, right, if you're just starting with those three, and then you could adjust what is my intensity.
Yeah.
So even if I have my middle, if I didn't get the heavy set yet, and I've got these 40s, right, that's my mid-range, or 25s, whatever that is. Now if I slow it down, right, I'm doing like a tempo, you're accomplishing the same thing you did with the heavier one.
100%.
Right? So you're going to feel that burn. That's all it is.
Yeah.
I challenge my muscle in that rep range, and then I'm fine.
And I mean, listen, if somebody was trying to get every lift in at home, obviously you want to be able to get those heavy lifts in. But I think, if they're trying to replace a couple workouts a week, like, you should be going lighter anyway.
Yeah.
Go lighter. Focus on the squeeze, muscle, mind muscle connection.
Yeah.
Get a great lift in. Go for reps, so they can. If they're not repling every lift, they can even get away with just the lighter ones.
And that's it. It's like, what's your goal? Exactly to that point.
Yeah.
If you're going to replace every lift, I'd go get a PRX rack. You have the space for a rack. Put mats on the floor, right, and then be able to squat, deadlift, do everything at home, kind of as conveniently as possible.
Yeah.
But if you're just looking for the in between, do your in between lifts. Like lift heavy at the gym. Do your squats, deadlifts, all those things at the gym. Let them buy the big weights.
Exactly. Yeah.
Let them buy the mats for the floor.
Yeah.
And then you have kind of those in between movement days and those accessory days.
Yeah.
And like that keep you kind of consistent in between.
Nice. Okay, so now touching base with cardio.
Yeah.
If you had to pick one cardio machine for regular people, what are we going with for the at-home?
I love like a Concept 2 rower.
Yeah.
Right?
Nice.
A little less than $1,000, and you can do everything on it. It's also kind of a full body cardio machine. So people even that hate cardio can find themselves feeling like what feels like a deadlift on a row.
I love the
right? So
row
like
machine. The
you're
row
pushing
machine is
through
how
the
I
plate.
get my cardio in. I have
That's
to.
my favorite because you get off of it, your legs are going to go because not because you were just running on a treadmill. Right, you actually had to engage. You should be pulling through that like a deadlift, so you should feel the hammies and the glutes, and then you're getting a good row, so you're getting back work. You're getting some bicep work, right? All
row
that's
machine. That's a solid one because there's so much you can tackle. You can do circuits.
Yeah,
you can
exactly.
do longer stuff.
You can sit on there for some zone 2 cardio, right? Or you can do the interval training as well.
What about like I see those. Bowflex makes all these crazy contraptions and all that. I feel like I see them and they're all really clean because like you can fool yourself with getting a good workout in on them because it makes you really tired really fast, you know, because they look complicated, but those are kind of maybe a little gimmicky.
Sometimes a little too much.
Yeah.
When fitness is very basic, right? And I think that's like the problem with even Instagram is that you see these very complicated jump over, do a backflip with a dumbbell in your hand.
I love like the mock ones where people are like great beginner's lift, and then it cuts to the guy and he's like benching 2 bench presses on the ends of the barbell. And it's like something so ridiculous because that's like kind of what I see is it's like you're just doing it to prove that you can do it. Like,
and
come
honestly,
on, man.
like that's just the era we live in. Like, right, you see it in your industry, people
clickbait.
just talking about ridiculous things that like the regular person isn't going to even be able to attain. But most people just need to do the same things weekly,
just do it regularly,
and you're good.
Consistently. That's what I think the idea of the home gym is it increases the capability to be consistent. If it eliminates the like, I don't have an hour and a half. I only have 30 minutes. All right, well, get in the garage, get in that room, do a quick workout. You know, however, maybe watch a video, whatever it is.
I think that is that should be the essence of the home. Unless, right, if we're talking about, you can't go to a gym, you're never going to do it. You are a home gym person.
Yeah.
If not, the home gym feels like a good supplement. I like to use for myself, home gym is nothing special.
You have a setup at home?
I have kettlebells and dumbbells.
Yeah, cool.
Right, and like that's it, and that's really just
because you have a setup at the office.
And I work out every day in my job.
But still,
right?
but that's such a good point. Is that you literally own 2 gyms, and you still have something to be able to get in at home because life is crazy, life is busy. You gotta get it in.
When I have that 30 minutes, that I know it's a Saturday. And I'm not deadlifting or squatting, but I got to find some movement in between a nap or whatever it is. I'm going to try to either get in like some kettlebell swing circuit or some little extra accessory work that I can get a little sweat in and move a little circuit.
Yeah, you got to burn. And like it's a Saturday, you might be going to a kid party and you're picking up slices of pizza.
Going to a kid party.
God damn, man, it's just killing everything.
It's like I got to have a gym and a lot of the parents and a lot of homeowners that your kids are going to be able to come into, right? So if it was like some rack with chalk and everything kind of going on, even though my kids come in my gym,
exactly,
right?
But at home,
they can't move around as right. You need if I got one kettlebell, a couple dumbbells, right there in the space in front of me.
Essentially, it's like kid friendly.
Safe enough. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so you're doing a plank and they're
jumping
on your
I love to
back.
throw some weights in their hands.
Yeah,
so just
soon.
They can feel it.
Yeah, not too long from now they'll be.
They're grabbing kettlebells right now. Just
I don't know where my son learned it. Maybe because he's in kindergarten now, so maybe in like their gym class. But he's like, Dad, it's time to work out. He's doing air squats. He's doing push-ups. I'm like, dude, let's go. It's always before bed. Just start whizzing, dude. Start going.
That feels good.
But all right, so you have a little home gym set up. You have it more accessory. But if you had, a little bit more equipment at home and you didn't really have a gym as, where your place of work is. If you could pick like one muscle group or type of exercise to do at home, like what would be your like one, to replace? Like you do shoulders at home. Like I find myself I can do legs here if I'm not squatting because I can do lunges. I can do so many different things, or shoulders. I feel like you said like kettlebell swings and raises and stuff. I do shoulders.
Like I think I would always. For me, I'm going to lean towards kind of that movement day that I know it could be light and I'm just kind of sweating. But if I say I had to, I'm like, this is my low. If I had to replace one of the bigger days,
if you had to,
right, it's going to be probably that low push upper pull day.
Okay.
It's like not even kind of a shoulder
you're doing
chest
pull-ups.
Day.
You can do a lot of
I can do a pull
calisthenics.
exactly, right? A pull up and a dumbbell.
You can get a crazy
I can
workout in,
right? Like if you have a pull up bar and a heavy enough dumbbell, not even, right? You can find yourself doing at least 2 pretty big back moves. So I can get pull ups to failure and I can get rows.
How are you with calisthenics as a solid guy?
Yeah,
that's.
I move.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You're
but
athletic.
that's only exactly.
Yeah.
So and for me it was always kind of keeping that in my workouts. I definitely, when we first opened the gym, just went straight heavy on the weights and was like loving the fact that I was just living in a place with barbells and 24/7.
Yeah.
So I got away a little bit.
Perpetual pump.
Yeah, like that was it.
And I was living. Were cracking.
And I went for my first run, and I was like, oh shit. Like this beat me. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So then I was like, all right, I got to make sure. I got to make sure I can run.
Yeah.
Right. So like I like to like kind of keep that and like have like almost what feels like an athletic move day every week.
So people who don't do calisthenics, understanding and learning how to get a great, because there's doing a pull-up and then there's getting a pull-up workout in. So I worked in the city, and most of the guys who worked with me, I was a union carpenter in the city doing concrete. Most of the guys, everybody pretty much was in shape. Either in shape or you were just abused your body so bad you were numb to everything.
Yeah.
You know, so we had a real dichotomy there. But these guys, I mean, I had guys who were in sick shape. And in the city, these guys love doing calisthenic workouts. And we had, like, you have a scaffold. We'd be on a lunch break, and these guys would be getting in.
Just hitting pull-ups.
Yeah, hitting pull-ups. And sometimes the days would be slow, like a rain day. And they'd see me. They'd be like, Joey, come on, go up there. And I'm, like, doing, like, 4, you know, because I don't really get into it. But for a home workout, if you're trying to really expand your possibilities, and, I mean, calisthenics, you're just more athletic and helps build muscle in different ways. It's good for you.
For sure. I would throw those as the basis, right? Some pull-ups and dips in anyone's initial workouts.
Yeah.
Because if you can start doing pull-ups, if you can go from 0 to 1 pull-up, think about the amount of muscle you have to build and form that you have to have in order to just be able to pull yourself off the ground. It's a very hard move. But you can it doesn't take up any space, and it's a solid one. Just
I mean, even just push-ups, you know, our gym that we've been going to forever, we got a couple over here that we go to, but one of them is right next to our school. So, like, that's where I went in high school, and then I'll still go there for, like, the maintenance kind of lift, and I'll see, like, the 9th, 10th grade kid I was, like, 120 pounds, you know, and I was a skinny kid, and I'll see that kid, like, getting on a barbell and trying to press it, and I'm just like, in my mind, it's like, just go and do push-ups. Yeah. Go and do push-ups, because that's what the older guys told me. I had the Ultimate Gym, you know what I'm talking about, clipped on the door frame? And
definitely.
that was like when I was in, you know, 8th, 9th grade, both of my brothers were still home. We had a high ranch, so our 3 rooms are there. And on like any given weeknight, they'd be in their rooms, like one's playing Xbox, one's got like Spike TV on, like whatever dumb shows on Spike TV, and I would just be cranking out pull-ups because my older cousin, he's a lot older. He's a freaking still this day just a meathead.
Yeah.
And he said, he's like, dude, do pull-ups and push-ups so you can do so many that you need a gym. That was a good basis for me too.
Yeah, that's a big thing we try to get with the kids, and so we train a lot of kids in the community in Huntington, or even like sports teams, which is cool. And we've heard, well, I'd say 2 different sides. The pushback from the coaches in the high school is like, I want them barbell benching and squatting. And so your kids can't even get into a bodyweight squat.
The kid who should be benching and squatting, he will be benching and squatting.
Exactly.
Because he can do it. Because you see some of these kids, they're like the lineman bouncer build, where they're in 10th grade, they're 240.
Yeah.
And
they already have the kind of the size.
They went on the leg press for the first time. They put 8 plates on.
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay, this kid's going to eat.
But a lot of these kids, they don't have the stability to support what an actual back squat is, or even a bench press, like you're saying. So, okay, how do we build up some of that strength first before you just get under a barbell?
All right, so important, because listen, you gotta raise the kids up. We're fathers, you know, we set the example for not even just our own kids. Like I coach soccer, and I look at it as like, I got to do the right thing for all those kids. I didn't play soccer. I just as a young dad, they're like, Joe's coaching. But, you know, fitness at home, the kids watching you work out, like you're setting the precedent that like we move. Like, oh, dad worked all day and he's coming home and doing push-ups. Like that's got to do something to their
Think about
brain.
what a kid grows up thinking, right, if that's a part of it. That they've been doing fitness their entire life. It's not some punishment. Right? It's not something you have to do because you're trying to look a certain way. No,
it's just what we
Dad's
do.
been doing it. Like Mom's been doing it. Right? It's just something we do. Right? We go for walks. We run. Right? We do push-ups together. Right? It's just something we do as a part of our day, as opposed to, oh, I need to lose weight, so I have to do it. Right?
Yeah, because that's really. I mean, this is your world, so you're like enlightening me into it. But that's probably what a huge hurdle is for people getting into fitness, is creating like this weird obligation to it versus like it's a need for me, it's a desire for me. It's not like it's a punishment, like you said at all.
No, it's a lifestyle.
It's actually a reward.
And like you said, like you feel worse if you don't do it.
And I looked forward. So I had 2 older brothers. I was in middle school. They were in high school. They always played football. I'm like, I loved. They'd be like, all right, we got to go to a football lift. And I was like, I couldn't wait to be the one going to the football lift. I'd be home, like I said, doing pull-ups in the door frame, watching Rocky, you know, watching
waiting
training mods. Just waiting to be able to do it. Like, I couldn't wait to do it. So it's like, honestly, like my son comes home, he's like, Dad, I'm doing air squats. I'm like, let's go.
Yeah,
I cannot.
I'm with you.
I got my nephew's 9 years old. This kid's like my best friend. I love that kid.
Yeah.
he's an athlete, and I just like the day we get to take them into the weight room, man. It's just going to be such a good day. So
it's such a good builder, I think for kids too. So think about, first, if you can just get that in a kid's life to just have movement as a part of their lifestyle, not something they have to chase because they're even looking to be better, right? Or looking to lose weight, right? Be on the forefront of that, but even from like a confidence standpoint, right? Just knowing when you're around the other kids at school that you're strong, you know, that you can move well, right? Like
I'm sure you benched a good amount of weight as a junior, senior high school. There was nothing better than out benching. As a short guy, I was short.
That's what you did.
I got all these motherfuckers. I was out benching everybody, and there was nothing better than that. There's nothing better than being the heaviest bencher.
And so think about like your son, right? This kid, like he's
already
been touching some weights with you.
I'm sorry for his future shoulder tendons, but this kid better be either squatting or benching.
That's it. But it's like because today we think about kind of, all right, how do I prehab the shoulder, right? And he can't just bench every day, right? That's what we like. You grew up on, and we're in an area where it was like first just like bodybuilding style. So there's so much just like pump and high rep and right. Like now you kind of think about you don't need as much of that, right? In order to achieve just like chest strength.
I've limited barbell bench press to like once every 6 to 8 weeks. Not even kidding. I do it literally just for nostalgia because like I said, my brother-in-law was going through the shoulder thing, and his orthopedic's like, this is literally a bench presser's injury, and I'm just thinking back to all the times where it was like,
where you get very compressed
no spots.
Here. I think if you or anyone listening came to 8well, we can get your shoulders feeling better.
Oh, nice.
About,
let's go.
About bench pressing.
Yeah,
right?
let's fix
we just throw in a lot of prehab. So we get the shoulders in a good place, try to build up everything behind the shoulder, support the chest while you're pressing, chest, shoulder, everything in a good place when you're benching. But it's like, so we're benching probably once a week with a barbell, but you got to get your shoulders in a good place. Because you're doing the other work, we're getting to support it.
Yeah.
Right, a lot of us, we don't build up right the kind of behind the shoulder, right? So there's no pull aparts. Because more of that is we get rounded because we're on our phones or we're sitting here thinking about what our kids are going to look like. Where this is how they kind of spend their life. A lot of people are typing here. So now you go to bench press, everything is right. Your shoulders aren't supported, so you got to build up back, right? Kind of get that chest kind of opened up, shoulders kind of down.
I love science. I love understanding things. Like I'm very interested in everything. I wish I could know something about everything. Yeah. And I've been in the gym. It's like since I was a kid, so I have a different approach. Like I don't know why I do the things I do. To be honest, I do them. I have an understanding of it. But like hearing you talk about it, bro, it's so cool. Like it's like I can literally hear you talk about it all day, bro. Like I can't.
But that is the difference, right? Yeah. It's working with the trainer or just one. Top is just be consistent and go to the gym, and like we'll all be in better shape and we'll have better health and wellness.
Something's better than nothing.
Exactly. What can you be consistent at? I don't care what you like. People are like, well, what's the best thing to do? I can tell you what I think the best thing to do, but the best thing to do is just whatever you can do consistently. Yeah. Right? Can you move consistently? I don't care if it's a walk or run every day. I would love for everyone to do strength training.
There's consistencies between people who feel terrible, who are injured all the time, that they're not moving enough. They're not getting steps in. They're obviously not exercising, but they're not even moving enough. They're not getting up and getting outside, doing any kind of physical activities.
That's the first benefit we see, is that someone just feels their energy feels better. They just feel their mood feels a little bit better just because they've been coming to the gym for 4 weeks. Yeah. Right. Then you got to kind of chase what happens after that. Yeah. Right. But just starting to move, starting to implement something that you're doing good for yourself. You start to
so I've seen it actually, and what brought up the interest to me for like a home gym is actually, so my dad, most of my life, the dude worked his ass off, literally worked 7 days a week for most of my life. Yeah. So for him, his main priority was just feeding us and taking care of us. So health was really not a priority. So he gained a lot of weight, and then later in life turned it all around. My dad now, he's a short dude. He's like $130, and he lifts 2 hours a day, 6 days a week in his home gym. Yeah. Where like 10, 15 years ago, the dude wasn't even sniffing a gym. Yeah. And now he won't stop, and he's figured out a way to make it convenient for himself because like he just couldn't. He went to the gym for a little bit. He had a trainer, which was really cool because in adulthood he was like, I really don't know what I'm doing, and he couldn't come and lift with us because it was like we'd bust his chops. Yeah, he felt like I'm like. We're doing a chest day. Now, this is years ago. When a chest day for us was dumb. Yeah. And he's doing 25s. So he's like, I can't do it. I'm not going to work out with you guys. So he got his own trainer. He got a little educated. But, dude, my dad crushes it in his little home gym. He killed it on Facebook Marketplace post-COVID because everyone was getting rid of everything. Yeah. So he needs to watch this episode because he needs to clean up his home gym. My dad's got too much. Oh, my God. Everything. He's got, but it's all mismatched. Yeah. It's so funny. It's such a gritty, like, rusty home gym, and I love it. It's in his detached garage. Yeah. But But yeah, he needs to clean up. So one of the things we were laughing about the other night was mirrors. Mirrors in the home gym. What's your take on mirrors? Like, I know where I stand, but it's also easy to make fun of my dad for it. But
I'm for it.
Hell yeah.
You gotta have
it, man.
I don't know how you're working out without mirrors.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Like, do I have a pump?
I think people who work out without mirrors are like whatever type of brain sociopath possibly.
Possibly.
To murder people. Yeah, because it's like, what are you thinking about? Just like you know,
you
like
can't even see
more
what you're
flashbacks.
doing.
You know,
exactly.
and you get
Look, chase this pump.
Yeah,
look at this pump.
Yeah, so he's got, my dad being, rigging it together. He's got a mirror on this wall that's like a house mirror with a wood frame. He's got another one over there from IKEA.
It's a good bathroom.
But it's all he needs, dude. He's got his mirrors. All right, so. Official statement is we're pro mirrors in any workout situation. Yeah,
Sturdy and 8-well are both pro mirrors.
We agree on mirrors, dude. Hell yeah.
When Joe comes to inspect the house, make sure there are mirrors.
The thing is any mirror, like nobody notices this, but every inspector's hitting a little.
Exactly.
A little boop,
How are you gonna walk in your gym and walk out without even
seeing what you look like, dude?
Come on.
All right, so officially pro mirrors. Let me see what if I got more questions here for you with the home gym. Oh, this is a great question. I love this so much, and I know you're going to have a solid answer. All right. Before Bluetooth, before streaming, because now every home gym, it's going to be easy to set up music and stuff. And now I know athlete background, the weight room in high school was your thing.
Yeah.
Like what CD did you have burned? Like what songs had to be playing when you were team captain, you were senior, like this is my chest day, what do we play? What's some songs we could hear?
Serrated, talking like early 2000s. A lot of 50 Cent.
Yeah,
Jay-Z,
I was gonna say,
right?
a lot
so
of 50,
Get Rich or Die Trying, Patiently Waiting, Many Men. If Many Men
it's
Many Men
over.
comes on in the weight room right now, right, you're going crazy. So think about in 2002, like 2001, like when it dropped, or 2004, like that was it.
Yeah.
Give me Get Rich or Die Trying on a weight room or on the bus ride to go play a game, and I'm good.
Yeah, see, ours was, I graduated 2013, so we were like 2010, 2011 in the weight room, so it's like a lot of Lil Wayne. Anything, like Lil Wayne was with everybody. So like Rick Ross, a lot of the Drake stuff that was a little harder came out. So like there's a couple of these songs where if I hear it now, I'm like, all right, we're going to chase this bump.
I'm in it.
But we had one of our wrestling coaches is an absolute beast of a man. He's the varsity wrestling coach at Bellport now, Mr. Cuffey. Like this dude, still to this day in his 40s, can probably outbench, outsquat everybody. Dude is a unit. And when we would wrestle, he would put on, I don't know why, but it was like System of a Down came out when he was at wrestling in college. So there's songs from System of a Down where, I think it's like Spiders or something. Like we would be doing spins in the wrestling room hearing that song, and it's still to this day is like, I'll be in the grocery store if it happens, like I'm picking the shopping cart up in my head.
I love that about music though.
Me
like,
too.
It'll put you in a place
immediately. I play a lot of music. I love music, and I'm doing it with my kids now. Like my son, we're going to a soccer game, and like it's so funny seeing his little nerves. Like I could see him a little clammed up, and I'm like, we're playing any song. He loves Who Lets the Dogs Out. Like Who Let the Dogs Out.
Bro,
that's a great hype song, dude.
Yeah, my kids love Who Let the Dogs Out.
Dude, we just chill. We're like, who? It's such a great hype song.
Well, shout out to the Baja Man.
Yeah, I don't know where he heard it too, but he's recently been obsessed with Hey Ya by Outkast, which is a great song to just yell. But
my daughter just started like loving some Taylor Swift, and I was like, I don't know where this came from, but if you love it,
whatever, let it rock.
Go for it.
Yeah, no, my daughter's into all the Disney stuff, so we're trying to work that around.
But
listening to Van Halen on the ride in, listening to guitar, like just to get him in the zone, because dude, like music 100%.
Yeah.
Sometimes the lift is just to listen to some music while you're moving around. You know, you gotta have it.
Yeah, but like I think that's half the lift is just like what vibe you're in, like where how the music is, how you feel.
I think my favorite part about having a home gym, because I think as the kids get older, I think this space will definitely have some workout equipment in it, because I want to make it a thing like where like him and his friends or my nephew, like I said, we're like, we're training. It's Saturday and the summer got nothing better to do. We're doing tire pulls, dude, until you throw up. Like you're 14 and you're not working, where you're gonna work out here. And my favorite part of that will be bumping music, because like headphones are great, but there's just nothing like blasting the music in that space and getting that workout in. So that's my neighbors are gonna know when the
boys are out.
The boys are out.
And I think this is like theme of home gyms being consistent, kind of the mental aspect, and then even with our kids is like being able to, if you accomplish that hard thing, during the day, you feel so much better.
Yeah.
Right. Everything else is easier.
Yeah, you gotta earn it.
That new job proposal that came in, that whatever you got to go do, what you just did some tire pulls right before that. Like I almost threw up this morning.
Exactly.
I can go talk to someone about a house I got to close.
It gets your head right, and for people who don't exercise, that I've been on the fence about it. Like you got to do it.
Yeah.
It'll just make everything in life a little bit easier. So I think we're running out of time. I'm sure me and you can go for like another 2 hours here. So
we might have to hit a lift though,
but
as it happens.
Why don't you drop the info?
Yeah.
Tyler Brown, 8well. Tell us about where we can find you.
Yeah, man. Check us out, 8well.life. You'll see our main studio in Huntington. Also, Forever Fit Gym on 8well is a second studio that we acquired in Centerport. And then we also have a wellness company where we're doing IV drips and also building out some nutrition therapy as well. And that's at Dripped. Check us out on the website as well, 8well Life. We give everyone a free class, free week, functional fitness, compound strength, learn how to strength train and look like Sturdy Joe here. Let's go.
Thank you, Tyler. Guys, thank you for watching. Subscribe to Knowledgeable Homeowner. Till next time.
Thank you, brother.